Hey guys, Dan Left AB Normal Outdoors again. About a week or so ago, I received 4 knives from William Collins to do some testing on these knives. The thing was, he wanted to see the difference in steel. Not really the grinds or the handles or the shape of the knife. It was about the steel of the knife. So what he sent me is, this is actually mine. This is WCSK NK neck knife. And then he sent a D2, I'm sorry, this neck knife's in 01. Then he sent me this D2, this newer design we've been playing with a little bit. Then he sent me, this is an AEBL steel. You kind of see it, a little different design knife. And then he sent me a knife in A2, a little different. Now what was asked of this test was to take the knives from sharp to dull to see which one recovered the best. See which one held edge retention the best and how fast they were to recover. So I was up for the challenge. It was a hard challenge to take 4 knives and to dull. And the process, and I'm gonna go over the process with you real quick, is the first thing I cut was deer hair. And I cut it on the cross hair. Hardest thing trappers don't like to do is cut across the hair. It's hard on knives, it dulls edge, especially on softer knives. And I cut each strip. You can see the strips, man. You can see the hair just falling off of them. I got a pile of hair here on my bench. And I cut that and I counted the times. Then I moved over to cutting leather. And I've got piles of strips of leather. How many times that it would cut, how many times it took to get through the knife and keep going. Then I went to, this is a solid piece of 2x4 oak, and there's a knot right here. It's really hard to see, but I just kept taking the knife and I'd count the passes. Then I put the knife here, tapped on it with a baton, sunk the knife in, pulled it out. And I did that 20 times each, and I kept doing that. Each knife, 20, 20, 20, 20, 20, and then I would check it on a paper test. I mean, it's a sheet of paper, and I would cut it. And I would want to see which one dulled first. And why I'm not doing these tests before, this thing was a long test. It took me almost 2 days to do this test. But when we got the results in, which one held the edge retention the best? What type of steel did that? And to try to take the bias out of which grip and which angle and the thickness, and I had to take all that bias out of my head, which is hard to do. We're biased of our steel and our knives and what we like. So I was really trying to stay focused on just the steel. So then, let me kind of back up the horse. I took all these edges to polished edge. I wanted them super, super razor sharp to get them basically to fail a little bit faster. So then when it come, on the last test I did, these knives were still sharp. I took my ceramic rod and I run sideways with it, 20 passes, and that will flatten out the edge. So I took these knives to extremely dull. I mean dull, just like you know, there's a lot of people out there who don't know how to sharpen knives right, and they take them extremely dull. And then I started counting passes coming back. I started out, first thing I did was take this ceramic stop and I run the knife down it like this. And I wanted to feel if there's any nicks in the blade. And you could feel the rolled edge on it. So I want to make sure that. So I did that test. There was no major nicks or anything like that. First thing I run, Laplander, diamond. 20 passes each knife. Started doing paper tests and hair tests on my own. When I got through that, I started labeling which one was coming back fast. Then I moved to the second sharpening thing. This is a The name on this thing is an F period Dick German steel. These are what the professional guys use, meat cutters use. You can feel it, but it's very, very fine. I love this steel. I put it on this steel, did everything 20 times again. You can see each pass on this knife, I sharpen a little different, guys. You see my thumb is behind this guard right here. I stand right here, it's the flick of the wrist. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You get my point. I took them to 20 each time. Then I checked them again with the paper, and I started making my notes on who's coming back, who cuts the paper better, who cuts faster. Then I went to the strop, my wooden strop with my polishing compound, and I brought them back to a razor edge. This is my strop. You guys seen this in other videos. It's a leather, piece of leather with I forget the chromium something, and then I really polished them, and I counted the strokes, and I counted the strokes. So guys, make this long video, and we're testing and stuff like that. I didn't want to bore you with me, cutting all this stuff and cutting paper. So the test results were in after it's all said and done. The D2, here, this is going to show the bias on the D2. I've seen D2 horrible stories, tips breaking off, chip edge, too hard to recover. Man, it's all about who heat treats it and whatever. I've heard a guy named, his name's Pano, he's doing testing with William too, said, I like this comment, this is Williams D2, not regular D2. Guys, I'm like everybody else, I'm gun shy. When you get bit and you gun shy of the D2, this knife was impressive. This knife, man, it stays sharp and it recovered good. 01, I'm a #1 fan of 01. It's going to be very hard to change my mind on 01. I think it's a great knife. It sharpens great, holds a great edge, and it recovers fast. This knife here is the AEBL. This thing held an edge, wicked edge. Recovered. This is the A2, this design here. This knife was the least in its class. This was the non-performer of the group. This knife, you can get wicked sharp. It held an edge, but the edge dropped off fast, and it was very hard to come back. It took a long time to go from dead dull back up to sharp. So the winner of the test is the AEB-L. I gotta get used to that term. This knife was kind of, it held the game all over. When it come back to coming back as fast as it could, the 01 and the AEBL was neck and neck. I think this recovered just a slight factor, but we're talking probably 20 strokes on a steel difference, man. I mean, it was so hard to tell. So it recovered like 01, but it had a better edge on it. Or I'll take it back, it had a longer lasting edge on it than the 01 did. And I'm shocked on that. I was very pleased. The other thing we noticed, and I call Will on this, is when this thing started losing the edge on it and it stopped shaving hair, it was barely shaving hair. When I put it back into pine, doing my curls and stuff, looking at pine, I forgot to tell you, I did this test on this too, is it still run with the rest of the knives. It wouldn't go dull. It lost the hair shaving, but I could still use it in the wood processing and the cutting of leather and stuff. So that was kind of strange on this knife, but so far, guys, this is my test. I'm a simple guy. William sent me the article on this test today, on the AEB-L, and I read it, and these guys really talk about the molecules and the carbon factor and blah, blah, blah. Man, I ain't no scientist. I don't know this. I'm just a simple old dude, man. I just want to see it cut, and if it stays sharp, and it's easy to sharpen, man. So far, in this test. I mean, and I'm not done testing this knife. I've been on the phone with Will today. This is the winner of all four. That's hard for me to say. I'll be honest with you. The D2, man, it's great. Man, it's hard to get away from my 01. That's my bias in that. But I'm telling you straight up right now, this was the winner. And then when William sent me the article on that, their test results are the same. Pano, want to give you a shout out, brother. I said, man, he's another knife tester from William. Sorry, I can't remember the last name, man, but you can get him on William's channel. The guy knows his stuff about knives. He been testing this AEB with L steel with William. I went in this blind. Another thing, guys, I found out, I did not know this was a full-blown stainless steel knife. I couldn't tell just by looking at it. You know, these knives come polished, you know, shiny. And that's the other thing, guys. I mean, if you're a sportsman and you go from hunting to fishing, salt water, you know, to bad conditions, snowy weather, trap, you guys all done it. I've done it. You throw these things in the truck, at the end of the day, you're wore out. You forget about it a week later after you gutted that deer, and oh man, that's the drawback between carbon. You've got to main it. Stainless steel takes a lot of factor out, especially if you get into survival knives. You know, they can keep them in your truck. I'm in Ohio right now. It's 94 degrees, you know, 70% humidity. These things rust by holding them. You know, so it's I didn't know that. That's a good factor, stainless steel. I have stainless steel knives that I love. Guys, you know, just thanks for watching this video, man. I didn't want to try to make it too boring. I wanted to get through it because it's just about testing and cutting. I really thank everybody out there, you know, help support my channel and stuff like that. You know, I want to thank William. Thanks, Will, for this test. I want to make fun of Will because I've never got a call from somebody say, hey, Dan, can you dull 4 knives for me and sharpen them? Hey, no problem. Thanks, Will. But guys, really appreciate this. Had a good time doing this test. It was a lot of hard work, a lot of thinking, a lot of notes. But we'll be back with some more videos. We still got some more tests to perform on this steel. Want to see other factors involved with it, and we'll go from there. So, guys, really appreciate all support. I know I lack in returning my comments, guys. I read them when I get time. You know, I do see them, guys. I'm sorry I don't respond fast. That's on me. I apologize for that. But guys, thanks again for everything you guys do, and you guys have a good day and be abnormal. Think outside the box. Thanks, guys.